In this video, we're going to look at how to switch monitor sources in the control room section of the NUAGE master unit. This is like the second most important thing in the studio, which is what are we listening to? To begin with, inside of the project that we're currently working on, let me go to monitor sources here so you can see the representation in the mixer window up here. As I switch between different sources in the project that I'm working on, in this case it's like stem tracks is what I'm really listening to. I've got the main 5.1 mix, but then I have a dialogue stem, Foley stem, sound effects, ambience, and music. And then finally another mix, the LTRT mix. This is the down mix of the 5.1 into stereo. This is a way I can switch quickly between all these different sources just by hitting the corresponding button on the NUAGE master unit. The next interesting thing is that there is a sum mode for these monitor sources in control room. And what this really allows me to do is to take multiple monitor sources and combine them together in the control room. For example, let's say I want to hear the dialogue stem, and the ambient stem together, nothing else. So I put the control room in sum mode, which is the same as this icon up here. You can see. Now I can pick and choose multiple sources, individual ones. So let's say I just want to hear Foley and sound effects together, nothing else. But then I can quickly turn those off and go back to the 5.1 mix, or I can take summing mode off and now I have independent access to the different monitor sources. Those are just the monitor sources within the current project. In other words, they have to exist in the project that is currently active in Nuendo, and that those monitor sources are saved with the project. So the monitor sources change, the mixes over here change depending on the project that you have currently active. The external sources do not change. They're a global setting. They're part of the control room preset itself. And external inputs can be anything you want. For example, I have an external input for a MacBook computer that has other audio sources on it that I sometimes want to listen to. Sometimes it's YouTube, sometimes it's just another audio file that I need to listen to real quick. I can quickly flip control room to external and select that external input and be listening to it through my chosen set of speakers. The second external input I have is a Blu-ray to listen to movies in 5.1. Again, listen to them in my chosen set of speakers, my calibrated studio monitors. I can listen to a movie on that same system so that I can use that for referencing when I'm mixing. So that's external inputs. You can define up to 8 of them. So for example, you could have an iPhone hookup. If somebody comes in with an iPhone and wants to listen to something real quick, you could set that up as an external input. And last but not least, the Q sends. The Q sends are to create headphone mixes for people in the studio. And, quite often you would like to be able to monitor those mixes in the control room real quick to make sure everything is going to the musicians correctly. We can pick one of the 4 Qs to be our monitor source in the control room. So you have these 3 choices: external input, one of the mix sources or combination, and then one of the Qs. And, the great thing is, since the phones channel is independent of the control room, the monitors, you could have the monitors, your speaker system, listening to the main mix, and then when you switch to the phones channel, phones could be listening to one of the Qs. That way, in the control room, you could put on a set of headphones, your own set of headphones, and be able to listen to any one of the 4 Qs to make sure the headphones are working well, while leaving the speaker system on the main mix for whoever else is in the control room. That makes it very convenient. So this shows you the flexibility that we have in terms of listening to monitor sources in control room using NUAGE. The NUAGE master unit makes it very easy to switch between these different sources, and that's what makes the workflow faster, better, more efficient for you. So that's it for monitor sources, and we'll see you in the next video.